guys, Sid from Sid's Trains here, and welcome to episode 1 on this Lionel Santa Fe Lion Chief Hudson. So before we get started on working on this engine, let me tell you a little about this engine as it does not belong to me and is actually a customer's engine. This Hudson is from my buddy Sam. He has his own YouTube channel, Sam's O-Gauge Trains, where he shows off his layout, his collection, and his amazing editing skills. He created the intro for my YouTube channel, and he's done some work for other people as well. His work is just amazing, and I definitely recommend you subscribing and checking out his content. There's a link in the top right corner. So Sam really enjoys this engine. He likes the Lion Chief system, and it's overall just a very rugged product. Here's a clip of it running on his layout. So the issue that he was having is, in that last clip you saw it smoking, but at one point it just stopped smoking. And that's the issue, is it just stopped smoking. He wanted to resolve that. So the first thing Sam did was he noticed that there was still smoke coming out of the stack, but it wasn't puffing out. So he decided to replace the smoke unit fan motor that blows the smoke out of the smoke unit. And that's kind of a normal thing to do. If the smoke unit isn't working and it's not puffing, that's a good thing to try. But that did not resolve the issue. And obviously the issue was a little more complicated than that, and he didn't want to invest any more money or waste any money in doing that, so he wanted to send it to me so that I could fix it. I started out by taking the engine apart and getting down to this bare frame with all the electronics and the motor on it, so I could get a good look at what was going on the inside. So I removed the smoke unit from the chassis so I could get a better look at it. I applied a little bit of power to the DC motor that you see there to see if the motor was working. Obviously Sam had replaced it, but I still wanted to check. It was working, and another thing I did was I replaced those little wires that go down to the motor just to make sure that wouldn't be an issue. So with the smoke unit itself kind of out of the way, I knew that it wasn't the smoke unit that was the issue. It was the main motherboard on the engine that was the issue. This is the main motherboard on the engine, and I did a little research by going on the OGR forum, and I'll leave a link to the OGR forum down in the description. And I noticed that other people were having this issue with Lion Chief engines, and the only way to fix it was by replacing the motherboard. So I went on Lionel's website and ordered a new motherboard. Here you see some pictures of me removing the old motherboard, and if you notice I took this picture of all the little connectors on the side. Make sure that when you're taking your trains apart and you don't know how they go back to, or you don't know much about them, make sure to take pictures so you can know how to put them back together. Like, there's a lot of these little 2-pin connectors on this board, and I didn't want to get any of them mixed up and fry the new board that I got. So I made sure to take some pictures so that I could then reference them in the future when I put the train back together. After about a week after ordering the new board came in, and I took it out of the package to make sure it was all good, and I got to work on putting the new board in and getting the smoke unit working again. This is what the old batting looked like, and this cannot absorb smoke fluid very well, and as you see it's all charred and yellow, so that's not going to work for absorbing the smoke fluid in the smoke unit bowl. So I decided to replace it with new stuff. This is the new stuff, and it's a fiberglass material, and before I put it in I make sure to kind of fluff it up so that it's separated and not dense. You want it to be kind of light and fluffy so that the smoke fluid can absorb into it and it not just be this hard, like kind of rod-like piece of fiberglass. You want it to be small little pieces of it. So with the new batting in the smoke unit and me having the new motherboard, I put it all back together. So with the new motherboard and the smoke unit put back onto the chassis of the engine, I put my test blocks on my test track and put the engine up on it to test the smoke unit. And as you can see, it's puffing smoke again. The fan is working now because that new motherboard isn't broken like the old one, and it looks really good. So now I'm going to put the shell back on the engine. So as you can see, it is still working. It's creating nice white clouds of smoke, as it should. This thing smokes really well for a very low-end product. That doesn't mean it's not a high-quality product. It's just a lower-end product, so I wouldn't expect it to smoke as much as, say, a legacy engine. But it smokes pretty well, and now I'm just going to run it around on my test stand for a little. So as you can see, the engine is all back together and working really well. The smoke unit is a very nice smoke unit. It smokes a lot for the size of it. Usually smaller units don't smoke as much as larger ones, but this one is doing really well. I'm glad that the new motherboard fixed the issue, and I'm really happy with this engine. Obviously it's not mine, and it's Sam's, but I'm really happy with it. I've never worked on a Lion Chief engine, so this is kind of new to me. I've never seen the system in action other than at train shows and on YouTube videos. So it's really cool to see a Lion Chief engine and the quality of it. It's really high quality and an overall good product in my mind. But that does it for this video. In the next video, I'm going to be showing you more of this engine running, and I'm going to give you my opinion on the Lion Chief system. So stay tuned for that, and as always, like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications. Comment below, and tell others about the channel. I'm Sid, and I'll see you next time, guys.